Hello gamers and welcome to another, video, right? Today I'm going to be doing one of those things where the content creator sits on their soapbox and complains about a specific thing. But no, seriously, this video I want to talk about sort of my channel, like what's going on with me, the future of, Gacha and like all the other stuff, right? And this is a part of a bigger thing that I'm going to do in terms of like doing better content and so on. And like there's no real way to condense this because it's going to cover multiple things. And so hopefully you stick around, like, subscribe, all that stuff, and take a minute to listen. Like, just take a small time out of your day, listen. I'm going to yap about, because it's going to be a lot. I probably won't even get to everything that I've been thinking about. And hell, this is more like one of those New Year videos where everyone's like, "Here's my resolutions for the New Year's," right? Like, here's what's going to happen. Like, except it's a couple weeks early for that sort of thing, right? But I'm on break, and so I figured maybe I'll put this out before I get all this other stuff going and stuff like that. So I'm gonna be kind of jumping around the place. So I do apologize for that. I do have some notes written down specifically for this, just to sort of like keep it. It's like, hey, this is what I want to talk about. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go with it. And put it out there, right? I don't expect this to do well or like anything like that. I'm just gonna throw it out there and see what happens. But yeah, the main thing is going to be the future of the channel, gotcha games, what have you, right? Right now, as you can see, obviously, I do a lot of Zenless and Star Rail content, right? And I do plan to still focus on those two primarily. I am, however, excited for Project Mugen or Anata, right? That is going to be coming out sometime next year, I believe. Now, I'll tell you right now, that I haven't looked at any of the new NTE stuff, and that's because I've completely just thought the game since like day one was terrible. And actually, let me do a completely unrelated thing. Let me put the music on. Let's put the completely unrelated ZZZ track in the background, so you'll just see. You'll start hearing club music, right? Just play while I'm talking about this like conversation thing. Anyways, I always thought like Neverness to Everness looked bad from day one, and I got shit for that, which is so funny. And now that I'm seeing people like, now that Project Mugen is like, re-announced itself, right? They'd be like, oh, Neverness to Everness is dead or whatever. I'm just like, that's crazy, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so like this channel specifically, I apart from like me making guide videos, I don't really know like what I really like, I guess, like want to do, because like obviously there's a lot of things I do want to do in terms of like creation and playing games, right? um but like I think part of that's a mistake of like this channel and how I haven't been focusing on it, right? And again, that's a wider topic, going IRL and stuff, and I'll get to that in a minute. But I think what I'm going to do going forward is keep this channel right here as like a gotcha channel. So like it'll be for Zenless, Honkai, Star Rail, and then whatever may be in the future, right? If you've been paying attention to content for a while now, or at least the streams, you've been hearing me constantly reiterate that Star Rail's been going downhill and like all this other stuff. Which granted, that's a lot of the stuff that I said is gonna be bigger and like other topics I'll cover, right? Like I do want to do a video talking about the HP inflation and game, all that stuff, right? Like everyone else has been doing. But specifically, Star Rail has been on a decline, right, as of late, ever since like 2.3, whenever Firefly came out, because like it was Firefly's hype, but like there's really like was like whatever that update, and then it's just been like kind of like whatever going down, and of course 2.6 was just like ugh, so obviously that interest in the game is like it's not waning. It's just that the game itself is not in the best spot right now in terms of like content, storytelling, and of course there's the whole Gacha Smack thing that happened recently, which is a whole other thing, right? Maybe I'll do a video on that. And then like obviously there's Zenless, which I think has been amazing since day one, and I'm gonna obviously keep doing content for that. And then how this relates to Mugen. Obviously I'm gonna try out Mugen. I'm gonna try out Neverness to Everness to see if it is any good. I doubt it is, mostly because I don't really have faith in the developers, because it's the TOF developers, right? So I'm more like negative against them than I am NetEase, because at least NetEase has put out games that have done well, versus Tower Fantasy, which is like but that's a that's a whole separate thing. It's not a big deal. And this also goes for Wuwa, right? Because many of you know that I used to play Wuwa and I just straight up quit. And that's because the game isn't fun primarily. And I just think the game generally is bad, right? Now I am going to try it out again for 2.0 to see, like what changed, and whatnot. I do know one thing that changed in terms of the combat. The dodge lockout is no longer, like a thing for the combat stuff, which that's a more nuanced thing that people are just gonna completely ignore. I mean, I mentioned it one time and some people got mad at me for it, even though it was a true thing. Check the like 1.2 patch notes for it. You'll see a thing about them adjusting the dodge, or whatnot. But that's besides the point. I do want to obviously try the game out again and see what's up with that, right? And maybe if I like it, then maybe I'll play it. But that's it is what it is, right? I don't really plan on making content for it, right? And the same goes for like Genshin. It's like I haven't really been playing Genshin. I've really just been like logging into my artifacts, and I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm just gonna uninstall, right? And perhaps by the time I get to the end of this video, I'm just gonna uninstall. But like, that game like just isn't good. Like they've been fumbling. They haven't been making improvements, right? Or improvements that I think are meaningful. That is right. They have been making improvements, like with certain artifact things, but they've made bad, story decisions in my opinion. And also, I don't think the exploration is as enticing anymore. Legitimately, this might be a hot take. I think the game peaked in Inazuma. Character wise, right? Story wise, exploration wise, I think the game literally peaked in Inazuma. I don't think, at least for me personally, anything has been on that level, right? And like there's a few characters like Dia, for example, like she's peaked, so like sure. But like Sumeru wasn't all that for me. And especially I hated certain parts of it, like the whole like Nilou inclusion. Like I stand by the fact that you could remove Nilou and nothing would change about the story. Like straight up, she is a useless character. Besides the point. And some of the story quests in that game being bad, and I don't want to turn this into a Genshin bad video, but there's too many issues with the game, and it's not like these other games don't share these issues. Like this is you could extend this to an issue of Gacha like as a whole, really, or at least like the current big Gachas. But like there's nothing in Genshin that's like worth playing, and so I'm just like not gonna play it, right? It's that simple. Like I'm not having fun, like it's literally that simple. That like not having fun, not gonna play it, right? It's just that simple, right? Like that's just a normal thing that I think most people do. So yeah, so like in terms of Genshin, probably just gonna stop it, and I'll keep it specifically on Star Rail and ZZZ, right? So yeah. Oh, and again, as for like the channel itself, this was like an idea I thought I had. I think what I'll start doing is having multiple channels. So like we'll have obviously the main channel, I'll have a side channel, which will be probably commentary, reaction, whatever it may be. I know literally everybody and their mom does that, right? But it is like the best path from what I see in terms of like YouTube content creation, right? Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I'm learning, right? I'm literally just a college student studying game design, which is a whole nother thing. A lot of people don't even know that. I'm a college student studying game design, and so if you see me being like insanely critical of like every game, or just like everything in general, look, man, it's just what I do. It's literally what I do. And so yeah, there is that. But I was thinking of having multiple channels. Obviously, channel for the Gacha, channel for other stuff, and then channel for like VODs, and then whatever it may be, right? I even had this like idea one time when I was like driving the car that I have a daily yap channel that is kind of like vlogging, but then I also just yap about random fucking topics, which could just be the commentary channel, right? So yeah, right. Whatever it may be, we'll see how that goes, right? It sounds way too much for me to even handle right now, because like obviously I already have to focus so much on college in the first place, and then having to split my focus between like multiple different channels sounds crazy, right? But content creation is crazy in itself, so I guess this would be expected. That's sort of like that right there. And I do want to mention like Monster Hunter Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm like the biggest Capcom glazer, bro. I am going to drop everything for Wilds. Well, if y'all are expecting stuff, I'm just gonna upload it on this channel, or I have an entirely separate channel dedicated to like Monster Hunter. And that's another thing. Like in the background, you can literally see Destiny going on here. I'd love to make stuff like content for the First off, I would say actually good games, asterisks, and the games that I would say more interested in. But there's other various like meta problems with that in terms of like content creation. So like I haven't really done it. And who knows, maybe I'll just start doing it, right? Whatever it may be. And so there's really that. And I guess moving forward, right, there's like problems with content and the space. So what I've got here is I got problems with content and the space and the game. So like the community, right? And obviously the games itself, right? And this is specifically towards the gacha games, right? Because obviously there's a lot of issues I have with gacha content, which is why I don't consume a lot of it. Which sounds weird, but I really do not really watch many other creators, right? I've honestly got problems with the creators themselves and the content, right? Which is a whole nother thing. This is gonna be an insane thing, just point a spotlight right at me, but I'll just go ahead and say it. I honestly want to do videos like, fuck, how do I word this? I'm not trying to like self-censor myself, right? I'm just saying like I don't want to word this. I want to do videos that are more critical towards other creators, and like for an example, right? You had like Mr. Pokey interview Santotas, right? And I don't think he went hard enough on him, and stuff adjacent to that is what I'm trying to say. Like I want to do something like that. Like and this is why I'm saying with the community in general, it's like the experience that I've had like interacting with the WoW community, and this is not a transition, but like the experience I had interacting with the WoW community and what I've seen is a lot work. I've logged out of the game. Is a lot like different than what I've seen in like the Zenless space, right? And the reason I mentioned this, right, is because like I see creators and like it's the whole thing that everybody says, like the Hoyo shill or like the Kuro shill, right? Whatever it may be. Like I don't align myself with the company. I just like, if I have fun with the game, I have fun with the game, right? So that's simple. I'm gonna talk about the game, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up is like there's a lot of creators that do shill for the games, and it's like absolutely crazy. And this further extends to another thing I want to talk about with like misinformation and disinformation, which is a whole nother topic. And like I hate that stuff. And hell, myself, I made the mistake of even doing that a couple times, right? Like I'll admit it right now, I messed up with some of my talking points on Caesar for ZZ, and I missed on some of my talking points for Seth for CZZ, right? So I completely fucked up there, right? That's on me, bro. All right. And I messed up like multiple times with that. So like I just gotta do better. It's that simple, right? I fucked up. But yeah, like what I'm trying to say with this is that like part of my motivation for content is because I don't necessarily like the content that is out there, and so I want to improve and do better content myself, right? It's that simple. Like, and I think that's honestly a great motivation. Like, hey, I want to make better content than this other person, and so I'm going to set out to do that, and that's my goal, right? Obviously, I don't think I've been doing that, right? I'm not the most proud of it, which is why in IRL I don't really show off any of the stuff I do, because of like I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, I'm not really happy with this, right? And so that's basically the goal. It's like I want to do that, and so obviously that problem with content, hopefully I can be that solution, right? That's sort of the idea with that, right? Not to like throw shade at anybody, because I'm not doing that in this video, but I'm just saying it's like I want to be making better content than these other content creators, right? That's like motivation right there. Obviously, you know, I did mention the community a little bit. People get so stuck up on these games and like defending the billion-dollar companies. It's crazy, but like y'all gotta be able to take criticism, right? And this is specifically targeted towards the WoW community. I feel like they literally cannot take the slightest criticism, and they like freak out as soon as like anybody mentions like anything slightly critical about the game, and it's like they just start like it gets personal about it. It's like, whoa, bro, chill. Like we all have our opinions, you know. But yeah, it's a whole thing. Hopefully the space as a whole can grow and improve, right? But the number one thing is you gotta be able to take criticism and like critically, and be able to be critical yourself of, you know, people, games, whatever it may be, right? Like you need to be able to actually think, right? And that's a problem that the gacha community lacks, is they don't think, right? That's the infamous thing that, like, you know, Hoyo players, they don't think, right? They don't they don't think, they don't read, you know, whatever it may be, right? So that's a whole thing, and I'm probably explaining this poorly, but yeah, I thought I just mentioned that, right? It's like the community, or like the space of it, you know, is in a rough spot right now. Many people said like gacha as a whole is dead, and to some extent that is true, right? But in my opinion, I think it's the people latching on to like stuff like sunk cost fallacy, or time sunk fallacy, into like the things they've already committed to and not trying new things, and also going in with a hater mindset. Like with how ZZZ launched, everybody was hitting on the game for no reason, even though I would say it is the best gacha by far out right now. Like, and it's not even close, right? And 1.4 does look amazing, right? Yet the game, I swear to God, has been the most overhated game I've ever seen. Like, it's actually crazy. And I play these other games that get a lot of hate, bro. I'm literally playing Destiny actively all the time. You guys can see it in the background, right? Like, I am a Destiny player, right? And I know Destiny gets a hell of a lot of hate, right? And And so like and like you know, I played all these other games, right? I'm no stranger to like I would say like hate brigades or like what hate campaigns, whatever you want to call it, to, you know, games, right? I've been locked in on gaming since day one, bro. I came out the womb with a leapfrog, all right? That's gonna make me sound older than I actually am. I'm only 21, right? But I have been experienced with all these different, you know, technological evolutions, right? All that stuff. And like what I'm trying to say with this is that like the space as a whole, I think it's like we can do a lot better, right? Content creators and the community, right? And hopefully everybody, you know, can grow, right, as a whole, right? Because like it's really annoying when you got some dumbass in your comment section, or, you know, somebody who's just yapping away in like a Discord server, right? It has no idea what they're talking about, and then it's like saying a whole bunch of shit, right? And attacking you personally over like what, a fucking video game? Like, bro, come on. Like, attack the people, attack the arguments, not the person, right? It's really like that simple. And again, I'm as I've said at the start of the video, I'm gonna jump all over the place, and so maybe, you know, maybe I'm, you know, jumping from here to there, but like, you know, it's a whole thing. The whole community and the space as a whole, it's a whole thing. Very complex issue, right? But at the end of the day, hopefully, you know, things can only get better from here with, you know, people like Gacha Smack who are gonna call things out, right? Who are gonna bring attention to things, right? Because realistically, we just want to have a fun time playing games, and these companies are, I would say, not doing enough, right? And aren't really deserving of your money. Yet people are going to sit here and still spend and glaze companies, I would say unfairly, right? For what they do, right? The only, as I said, I'll say it again, and a lot of you are gonna call me a shill for it, but I don't care. I think the only one doing stuff right is ZZZ, without question. I think they, by far, do the best job of everything. And it's funny because none of this like is reflected in Genshin, right? Genshin be fumbling hell, and then ZZZ just keeps like going up, right? Every single update, every time they do anything, it's like W's all day, every day. Genshin be taking fat L's, right? As club music plays in the background. Really early in the video. Yeah, and I guess the games themselves, I'll leave that for a separate video, to be honest. I've got video plans of like the state of Gacha games, right? I want to do a video titled that, right? State of Gacha games. And actually, I already mentioned other channels. You know what? Let's move on to that. So I actually have this like screenshot here that I'll pull over here so you guys can see. This is like some of the ideas I had for like video titles. I was gonna do one Stop Glazing Wuwa, said let's be honest about Genshin Impact, some Star Wars stuff, a review of Zenless, right? The state of other Gacha games, which I just mentioned, right? Jiao Cho versus other characters, which is specifically an Acheron video. And for people that stick to the channel, I apologize I couldn't get that out, bro. Like college started by the time the guy was out, so like I had to lock in. That's on me. I just couldn't get the video out. I'll try to get it out, you know, whenever Few comes out and, you know, test with Acheron, and I'll finally activate my E1 Jiao Cho. But like, yeah, that's just, it is what it is, right? I want to do a video comparing all the healers because I feel like as of right, or at least right now, right? This is not talking like elite content. Characters like Ho are kind of overrated, and certain characters like, and this topic has changed because Linksha has come out. But I feel like people don't actually know how to use the sustains properly in Star Rail, which is a whole nother topic. But I wanted to do one comparing the sustains, right? Specifically because on paper, stuff like Gallagher has the highest heals in the game, and that's on paper, but his heals aren't always applicable. And so I wanted to do an analysis of what makes a sustain good with that video. And it's a really in-depth video, which ties into another topic of like my video quality itself. It's like, I'm not good at editing, and so I need to get better at editing to actually put out this content, right? But at the same time, it's like, it's just me, so I don't really have the speed of like other content creators, right? And again, I can go more and more on that, but like the main thing there with that is that I just need to get better at actual content creation, right? It's really that simple. I want to do a video, obviously, bashing on Rena. no. Rena's finally getting some teammates to have her shine, so like she's actually kind of good now. That's what's the point. Obviously, one for Lucy, ZZZ tier list, Honkai Star Rail tier list. My final Genshin video I wanted to do was actually a Genshin tier list, but it's like the stuff with the other Genshin video, like the Let's Be Honest About Genshin. I've gotten to the point where I just don't care enough, so like I might not even do either one of those. Maybe I'll do like Hate Farm. I don't know. I wouldn't. You can call it hate farming, but like I don't really think it's hate farming. I think it's just like, yeah, like the game's not good. But again, that's here nor there. Obviously, I want to talk about the State of Anomaly characters, tips and that one is honestly, that one's dead. I want to do ZZZ lore videos. Honestly, I do want to do ZZZ lore videos. I don't see a lot of them, and so I just want to do it myself. Like the ZZZ lore and story, it's peak. So, yeah. Obviously, okay, that's a little dated. 2.5 Apocalyptic Shadow. We're already on like 2.7 dots. That's a bit dated. And then obviously I already did the ZZZ changes video. That can be like every update. They change so much about the game, and then obviously should use summon, which is generic YouTuber stuff. But yeah, that's, you know, really here nor there, right? And so yeah, let's move on to like what's going on with me. So obviously I've already talked about it a little bit. I'm a college student studying game design, right? And so obviously, you know, my how do you want to word this? My perspective is going to be a bit different than a lot of other people's, and I'm going to have different information or you know, experience than other people, right, for the role of game design, right? And a lot of times you've got these people who be talking about game design when, for one, they're not in the space, or two, have no idea what they're talking about, and that's really fucking annoying, bro. I got some dude in another Discord who I talk with, right, sometimes about game design stuff, and you got people just going off, and they have got zero clue what they're talking about, right? And part of this is brought up in some like recent gacha dramas, right, in terms of like how the games are actually doing and whatnot. People generally just, for whatever reason, all these like casuals on Twitter, they do not understand how game design works, right? But they just be saying shit, right, with zero clue what they're talking about, and so it is what it is, right? Hopefully, right, actual game designers come out and you don't have me, somebody who's, you know, studying to be one, talk about this. But you know, it is what it is, right? You can only get so much, right? It does, and like a lot of this stuff, it doesn't take me, somebody who's like gonna become a game designer, right, to explain this to you. It should be pretty obvious, but you know, some people, they don't, they just don't get it. They don't get it, bro. But that's you know, a whole thing in itself. I feel like I keep saying that. It's just like it's just English. That's just like a saying I have. That's like, that's a whole thing. I guess it's just gonna be a saying. If you made it this far in the video, comment down below. That's a whole thing, right? Yeah. Some of my vocal quirks are like, I have not seen them anywhere else, bro. I'm gonna be real. So yeah, that's a whole thing. So yeah, anyways, for more so what's going on with me is like, now I'm gonna be on break for a month until college starts back up again. And so I don't know how I'm gonna have to manage all that stuff for like, you know, creating content and so on and so on, right? Because I've not been doing a good job of it right now. I've just been locked in on school. Can't really get the best content out. It is what it is. Again, I've primarily been doing reaction stuff, which isn't the most interesting to me, right? I want to do more analysis stuff. I honestly do like the like 40-minute yap videos about a character, but those don't do the best. Now, granted, I say they don't do the best, but like a couple of them be getting like 40k views. All right, so like, look. I think my Caesar one's at like 25k or something. Like I don't know. Like they be getting a lot of views. So like, look, maybe I'm doing something right. But yeah, you know, there's not really too much going on with me, right? If you're like watching this video like concerned, like I'm good. I will say, unfortunately, we didn't get to like 10k sub by the time my album comes out, so you're not getting a maid outfit from me, but I'll at least be in a suit. Okay, we'll be in a suit. I'll be glazing the fuck out of the game, bro. I'll be like, you know, like, well, whatever it is, whatever my album comes out, right? I'll be doing all that. But yeah, you know, just IRL shit, right? I'd be busy. I won't be as busy anymore, so, or hopefully I won't be as busy anymore. So looking forward to more and better content, right? That's sort of like the whole idea behind this video, or what I want to try to do going forward, right? For my channel. It's like, I know some people will be like, oh, this guy's not serious, or, you know, like whatever it might be. Like I am 100% serious, right? And this is something I'm talking about before in a Discord server. It's like, I don't want to shitpost anymore, right? Unless, and like somebody did bring this up, it's like, you could do a good shitpost, like, you know, fair enough. But like, I do want to try to actually make good content, right? Regardless of like what people are going to agree with or understand what I say. Like, I'm just going to be trying to make better content that's informative and have an actual discussion about, you know, said topic or whatever it may be, right? And I just want to improve, right? Improvement always is basically my mindset with that, right? Just get better, I know one of the pain points of my channel is the thumbnails. They suck. I'm not gonna lie. I've been completely lazy on a lot of the thumbnails. Just 100% be honest. I'm been fucking lazy with that. And some of the content to extent as well. So it is what it is. But yeah, there's I don't know why I wrote it down. There's really not much going on with me IRL, besides the fact that, hey, you know, I'm studying to be a game designer, right? So yeah, you can ask me questions about that. Or my thoughts on games, because I got some hot takes about games, bro. Some really hot takes, and I'm looking forward to you know, 2 days from now, whenever the Game Awards, you know, comes out, and you know, things go crazy with gaming in general, right? You get big announcements, yeah, big announcements, and you know, awards given out to each respective winner. Nah, I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna throw shade at a certain game, but I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, and I guess I can move on to like recent dramas. There have been some recent dramas within the space, whether it be stuff going on with Tectone, where you've got allegations being thrown at him with zero proof, right? And you've got stuff like with the Gacha Smack thing, and people, you know, going after him for saying a completely normal thing, like they should be getting more out of the game compared to, like, you know, what they get out of an anime, right? So on and so on. And there's also been other ones like Genshin crash outs. I've seen people crashing out over character designs for Star Rail, right? That one's just funny. Imagine crashing out that hard over a fucking character design. It's crazy, bro. Look. Character designs are obviously an important thing with any given game, right? No shit, Sherlock. But the biggest thing that matters for a video game is the gameplay, right? No matter what you say, the biggest thing that is important for any game is the gameplay. The story is there to supplement the gameplay. Of course, you can do a lot of gameplay tie-ins with the story, but the biggest thing for any game is the gameplay. And then at least, again, if you even look at studies or like surveys done, people do, it's like gameplay, story, then character designs, or like whatever it is. There's a Capcom survey you can look up. I should have brought it up for this video, but there's a Capcom survey of people asking, like, of specifically Capcom players what they're looking forward to, and obviously gameplay is at the very top, because that's just the fact of the matter. Like, the whole point of a game is for it to be interactable, right? Because otherwise it's just a movie, you know. And I literally wrote a whole essay about this, and I can go on for hours about this specific topic. It's why I don't like movie type games, and some of y'all know I be hating on Red Dead, GTA, The Last of Us, even though I haven't played that one. Like, I be hating on those games because they're movie games, bro. I don't think they're good, right? That's not why I'm playing a game. I'm gonna be real. All right, I'm gonna just throw that one in there, okay? Gold Demon not talk about hating on X Game Challenge Impossible, but yeah. Anyways, back to what I was saying is, like, there have been a lot of dramas within the space. Now, there's a rule that I have in my Discord channel, is that I don't want anybody bringing in dramas to the Discord channel unless I talk about it first, right? So and this is like what I hold to the channel. Like, I'm not going to be getting into any dramas, right? Hell, if I do, shouldn't be my fault. It shouldn't be, right? Maybe there will be, because I, like, you know, go into, you know, like, throw a curveball over onto like some, you know, like Ziox. So I'd be name dropping people like crazy. I throw something at like Ziox, and he responds back, even though I'm like, you know, I'm basically a nobody in the space. You know, just throw that out there, and he's like, Genshin Impact's the greatest game ever of all time. You're clueless, right? Something like that. So, like, maybe that's possible, but like, I shouldn't be starting any dramas. And so, like, my thing for dramas is that I'm most likely not gonna talk about them unless I do think it's important to talk about, right? And so, and like, I've kind of already stayed to that, but what I'm trying to say with this is that, like, I'm not going to be really talking about dramas on here. Maybe on that side channel, if I do make it, I'll talk about them on there. But, like, I don't want dramas coming into my Discord, which I think is a pretty normal thing to have. Like, don't be bringing, like, Twitter drama into my Discord. You can DM me about it. I don't mind, right? Like, I got somebody in my server who's asking me questions about it, right? Because again, like, it's part of the rules. Like, I don't have I don't want that stuff in there. But sometimes I will bring something into the server, and then it's okay to talk about it, right? And that's generally what I'm going to try to stick with this channel, is that I'm not going to be a part of any dramas unless, of course, I decide to be a part of drama, if that makes sense, right? Hopefully that makes sense. That's a whole nother thing. And there's definitely other ones that have happened, right, that have pretty late in terms of the gacha space, but yeah, ideally that won't be here, right? Ideally, so yeah. I've already kind of mentioned awareness of mistakes and growth, and like obviously I want to grow the channel, right? I want to get better at content creation, I want to get better at game design, all this stuff, right? But the problem that I have is that I just haven't done it, and so I need to do it. It's that simple. I just got to, lock in, do it. I say lock in, but everybody's like, oh, I gotta lock in. It's like 99% telling people I gotta lock in, 1% actually locked in, right? But like I just gotta actually do it. I gotta commit to doing better content, right? Growing and all that stuff. I'm aware that I've made mistakes. Gonna try to reduce those mistakes going forward. It's that simple, right? I point out the Caesar thing, 100%, right? I mean that's like really the only one that comes to my mind. I've again, a lot of the stuff I just push back. I'm just like, and like here's the thing, y'all I'll even like show you this like behind the curtains, bro. I got a shit ton of videos that I haven't even uploaded. Now a lot of these are uploaded, to be fair, but I've got a bunch of videos that I never actually went public because I either ended up not caring about the topic or I thought it was just dead at that point. There's a lot of content that I've actually made that no one has ever seen, and in fact my channel itself, its original inception was like, was it 10 years ago? I don't know if this channel, because like I've always been interested in content creation, right? Like this channel itself is really old. It used to be called The Four Losers. I think if you go on YouTube right now, and we can actually test this out. I think if you go on YouTube right now, it might still pop up. I know for a while it did. Let me see. No, it doesn't pop up. But anyways, my channel's like really old. And like not all the content has actually been on there from 4 years ago, but I've used this to honestly upload what is it, like YouTube videos for what the fuck for class and stuff like that. But yeah, I have actually been aware of like everything going on, right? And so like what I'm trying to say with this is like, I do want to make better content to where I'm like confident uploading it, right? So I don't have this like massive wall of content. Who knows, maybe I'll just end up like deleting all these videos because I don't really need them, or they're gone at this point, right? A lot of these is just like stuff that never got uploaded, or clips that got used, and some of these are 0 cycle clears or like me testing stuff, whatever it may be, right? So yeah, that's that, right? Again, content creation, it be a little goofy. I'm trying to improve, whatever it may be. And now for misinformation, knowledge, and goals. Yes, the funny one. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation within the gacha space specifically, and hopefully I can combat that, right? As well as other creators generally have, improvements for their content and our message and our understanding for the game, and games, and so on and so on, like Gacha Smack, right? Huge respect for the guy because he says it like it is, right? And understands, stuff, and even calls it out, right? And I do think more people should be open and honest about this stuff, right? And as well as myself, like I've accidentally spread misinformation way more than I would hope to, because I hate it, right? I hate the fact that it exists out there. But I've no one's like completely cleared of spreading misinformation, right? And so obviously gonna try to not do that, right? And I know I did actually watch like the Santotas like videos and stuff. Obviously we share like some we share some sentiments in that regard in terms of like Pride Win, which is a whole nother thing. I do want to do a video covering Pride Win's issues. I actually have a privated version of it covering their issues. However, it was like 40 minutes long, which is not the most watchable. And I was, asking for, it's like, hey, can you, review this for me, see if it checks out. And we were just like, yeah, it can be reduced to 20 minutes. And so I'm definitely going to do that going forward. But at least going forward, what I'm going to do is, at least in these next couple of days, a couple like build videos for the new ZZZ characters, which I think Miyabi's videos should be going out today. It's Tuesday, so like we'll see. I don't know. Um, but yeah. Anyways, I do want to do like those discussion videos of like the Pride One tier list, right, and so on and so on. So that's where I'm going with that. It's like some of these are ideas or like plans for videos. To get a shared understanding or help everybody understand better about the how the game actually works. And this is a lot of things that people misunderstand, that like are they don't understand fully, is like how the way to properly do stuff is contextualize it around how it works within the game, right? And that's what Pride One misses a lot with their tier list. And so I obviously want to talk about that. And a lot of the stuff in the tier list is just completely wrong. And this goes for like at least the games I do know, Wuwa, Star Rail, and ZZZ. Now, here's the thing: I'm totally open to helping Pride One, 100%. I'd love to, but like, there's even drama with Pride One going on because I know there's that one time they used an AI to like write one of their things and they had to go back and change it. That was a whole thing, right? And then even more recently, again, Saint just brought it up in like his video, I think with Pokey, where it's like they be crediting leakers for some of their stuff, which is a whole nother ballpark, right? So like that's more towards like going after Pride One. But that's the thing, right? What I'm trying to say is like combating misinformation is a huge like value of mine, and so I want to try to do that, build a better understanding around these games, right, as a whole, right? Unless it's Genshin Impact, fuck that game. But yeah, it's sort of like a goal of mine to always like do better, have better content, right, and stuff like that. And I think that's a goal many people, or at least I hope many people in the space share, right, of improving the actual space. And I know there are some people that are like, oh, it's never gonna happen, give up, or whatever it may be. Like, whatever it may be, what it be. I was gonna go somewhere with that. I completely forgot it. I might have to take a second to pause and remember what I was gonna say. Yeah, give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I completely lost what I was gonna talk about. So yeah, if I figure out to add something in this video, I'll add it in post. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Yo, okay, so I wanted to throw this in while I was editing, right? I remembered what I was gonna talk about. This pertains to the Gacha revenue report, right? And this, again, I've said it like 50 times throughout the video. There's a whole thing, right? Specifically with the Gacha revenue report, right? I don't think I'm gonna keep covering it in the future, and I think it's even part of it's even gone, even, right? I've not been keeping up with that. But I always knew that it wasn't accurate information, and I literally said it in the like previous video, where people got mad at me for bashing on Wuwa, that like I should have opened the video with the fact that it's an estimate, it's not accurate, blah, blah, blah. Like I already knew the numbers weren't accurate, right? I did see later on from, I believe it was one of Tekton's videos of him going to the website and showing that like it's completely wrong to like it further improved now. So like now I'm even more informed of like how wrong it was, right? And so like I already knew that, and I'm only bringing this up because like I was farming a couple of those videos, so that I don't really want to do that anymore because it's not something I really care about, to be honest with you, to some extent. And yeah, sure, it's good for farming content, right? 100%, right? But I don't think those videos really do anything besides that. I don't think they're contributing to any conversation, especially because people are so tribalistic over the gacha games, and our people don't even know that it's like fake, or they don't even understand like how to contextualize it, right? Because at the end of the day, these games are spending money to keep active, right? And so they need to make a certain amount to keep their servers up. That's realistically what it is. And there's a whole further thing I could go on about it, but I don't want to make this too long because the video is already like 40 minutes long. And I just really want to say that like I don't think I will continue to do any gacha revenue videos, because I don't. It's really just spreading misinformation, and it's sowing more discourse that doesn't need to be there over these gacha games, because of how tribalistic people are, and they also are just not informed properly on how to actually take this information or use this information as a good talking point. They like never do in my experience. And so I, just don't want to like sort of platform that content, right. Um, I'd rather promote, actual good conversation and topics around these games instead of, some dumb revenue report over an overseas company that nobody knows their actual numbers about. Especially when, games, and the main reason I talk about ZZ so much is because it's, my current like primary gacha game. Especially when these games, and I know this is a fact for both ZZ and Wuwa, these games are marketed as a PC game, right? And before you'd be like, but it's a mobile game. No, no, no. There's YouTube ads and like everywhere you look online, Zenless is marketed as a PC high quality game. All right, this is just one of many ads I've seen pop up for ZZZ. Like I've got another one here. Like this is just oh, you can't even see it, right? My bad. Sorry. There it is right there. This is just a fact of the matter. Like they literally marketed it as a PC game. So like there's a significant portion of the player base for both of those games that are on PC that you're never going to see the revenue for because they've got no way to report on that, right? Without having to like, pull the people are getting the info from the company, right? And so yeah, gotcha revenue report video, kind of bad. Of course, if you are other creators, you're more than entitled to obviously, farm that for content, but I myself probably will not be doing it anymore because I don't really stand by it. It's like whatever. And if I do one, um I fucking said dude. Holy fuck, dude, 5-year-old humor. If I do ever make another one, I'm gonna hopefully do it from a more informed standpoint, right, and give proper context for it, and thoroughly explain it because that is, I think, a flaw that I have in a lot of these videos, and help even this one. I don't explain enough, right? So yeah, that's that's I guess the real end of the video. So yeah, thank you for watching. See you later.